Hello. Last night, as I was in bed ready to fall asleep, I began pondering why I wasn't heavily influenced by the feminist movement. I was raised in the 60s and the 70s after the sexual revolution. Feminism was in full swing. We were taught as young women, young teenagers, to pursue higher education and careers. So I was thinking, because I went to public school from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade. And then I went to a private Christian college for 4 years. But even in the private Christian college, they didn't teach anything about biblical womanhood. They only taught about careers and, you know, which career path you wanted to choose. So why, being in a home that my mom really didn't teach me about biblical womanhood. The church didn't teach me about biblical womanhood. I heard completely the opposite in the public school system. In fact, all of my friends in the public school system through high school had mothers who were full-time career women. We would go to their homes after school, and they were dark, cold, and uninviting because nobody was home. We'd eat junk food and watch junk TV. But everyone loved coming to my home because my mom was a full-time homekeeper, and she made us feel welcome, loving, and she loved everyone who came into our home. Our home was a happy and fun place. She loved feeding everybody. Just everyone loved coming to our home. It was always, my mom always had an open door policy. Everyone was welcome because they all felt loved and welcomed by her. And she was always available. She was always available to talk to anyone who needed her to talk to. In fact, at her funeral, many, of the friends of my age who knew my mom as a child just said what impact my mom had upon their lives. And then I went to college, and back then it was only $3,600 a year, so for tuition and room and board and everything. So it was very affordable. My best friend worked to pay it off through the school years. And it wasn't high intensity. In high school, I never remember studying after school. We never studied for the SAT. There weren't the AP classes and the push for that high career powered job that there is today. So there were 7 of us, and it was kind of like, it was just the thing to do. So we went to college. There was no big debt afterwards or anything. And only a few of us graduated from college, but because all of my friends, I was thinking last night though, had full-time mothers at home. And we would go home on the weekends, we'd go to different homes, and we'd be welcomed by their mothers and fix really good food. And it was just so much fun. And that's all I ever wanted to do. I saw modeled by my mom and my friends' moms, just being home full time and loving it, and what security it was for us to have the mothers home. And for me growing up, it was so secure. My dad never even wanted my mom to work. He wanted my mom to be the one that raised us and was with us all the time. And so she raised 3 secure daughters. We're all very secure and feel very loved because of that. And I wanted that for my children. In fact, if it was up to me, I would have married right out of high school and started having children, because that's all I ever wanted to do. I didn't want to go to college. In fact, I think out of all my college friends, I was the only one that really had any type of a career. But I wanted to get out as soon as possible because I wanted to just be home with my babies. So for some reason, the feminist drive for women to have careers, higher education, didn't ever appeal to me. I did it, but it didn't appeal to me. I didn't like the studying and all the stuff I learned in college. It didn't really impact me. And I never learned to be anything about biblical womanhood in college, even in a Christian college. I do remember Elizabeth Elliot speaking in one of the chapels. We had chapels, I think, 4 times a week, and I only remember one. And she taught us that if you wrote all of your blessings on a piece of paper and you were raised in a godly home, Christian home, that would be at the top of your list. And as I've grown older, I see what a huge benefit and blessing that is to be raised in a Christian home with a mother at home who invests her life in her husband and her children, and the security that provides for the children. So none of the feminist stuff ever appealed to me. I wasn't a submissive wife, but being, I did take care of my husband, and I took care of his home and his children. That always appealed to me. So the feminist clause never got its hook in me, and I'm really thankful. And none of my college friends either. They're all still married to the husbands of their youth. We've all been married almost 40 years, and we all had children in our early 20s. We all had between 3 to 5 children, and we all loved having children. And that's those. You're known by the company you keep. And I had friends who loved biblical womanhood, even though we didn't know it was labeled it back then. That's what we loved, and that's what we all spent our life doing. So raise your children, your daughters, the same way. Let them see a mother happy at home, loving her husband, making her home a place of joyfulness, cheerfulness, warmth, and food and love. So anyway, don't let those feminist claws get into your daughters. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.